Welcome to Tyson and Teddy Talk the 100. This is a quick little tangent about popcorn. When I was younger, I used to go to the movies with my best friend back in the day, Ryan. I almost said his last name, and then I'm like, nope.
Don't talk.
Yeah. we used to go to the movies a bunch every day back in the day, and whenever I went with like him and his family, they would get the big thing of popcorn, and then they'd take it home if they didn't finish it, and eat it over the next day. And I'm like,
I wouldn't do the next day, but
dude,
I would finish it that night. I swear
he woke up the next day and was like, oh, more popcorn. And I was like, bro, that's stale as hell. And it really is. I tried it and I was like, this is stale, man. He's like, whatever. It's like, and multiple people in his family did that.
I would go to the theater and get the big thing of popcorn, and then on the way out after the movie, you get it refilled.
Oh, well, see, not everywhere. People they don't really do free refills as often as they used to.
They probably don't. I don't know. I haven't done it.
I also when
I was a kid, they did it.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I used to do that too. But now I only most of the time I go to the movies by myself. So it's like, when am I ever gonna finish an entire thing of a large bucket of popcorn? I never get there anymore.
I eat the popcorn so fast.
Oh my god!
I'm halfway done a bag before it's after the previews.
Yeah, I mean, I always take down the first level to where it's overflowing, and then I see myself getting down to about a quarter of the way through it, and then I'm like, oh, nope, stop.
Also,
the
bottom
hasn't started yet.
Now that I'm older, it's the bottom of the bag of popcorn just doesn't taste as good, and all of the shit is in there, and so you're just
dude,
I don't even want to eat it.
Yeah, I mean that's probably why I don't finish it anymore. I get to about I don't know, I don't want to say a quarter, but an eighth of it left, and then I just stop.
It's it's all the
if I'm
tiny
really
kernels.
Hungry, I'll try.
There's a lot of unpopped kernels that you accidentally throw in your mouth, and then you break your teeth. It's no, nobody likes that.
Oh my god. So anyways, this episode 100. Oh, we definitely mispronounced it last time. I don't think we were
Hesperides.
Hesperides, I believe.
Hesperides.
Yeah. I believe that's how Octavia said it. Because
Hesperides nuts.
Oh my god. I would say that. I don't think we said it on the podcast though, because I think we watched a trailer and saw the title for the next one. Oh, and maybe we did. I don't know.
We tried to pronounce it, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I think you looked up the title.
Yeah.
At the end of the episode, and we tried to pronounce it. We got it wrong, but that's fine. Po Buddy's nerfect. A great quote from
what does it
television
mean?
show The Office.
It means,
what does it mean?
What is it? Three maidens?
I'll tell you what it means. Hesperides, Greek for daughters of evening. Singular, Hesperis. Hesperis, yeah. In Greek mythology, clear-voiced maidens who guarded the tree bearing golden apples that Gaia gave to Hera at her marriage to Zeus. I did a deep dive. I have the Hesperides page open on the Encyclopedia Britannica. But yeah, I actually really wanted to get a condensed version of their story, but I couldn't really find one. This is just them and who they are, and I will say, do you remember in the episode what Octavia says about them? Because I don't.
No.
She mentions them. She mentions that they guarded apples, I believe, and I think that's it. In my head, I'm like, why does?
I just remember because she said the three maidens, then Hope is like us.
Yeah.
So there's the three of them, and I was like, okay, that kind of makes sense.
100%. So this episode was super weird, just right off the bat, y'all. Yeah. Probably my least favorite episode of the season so far.
It's my least favorite, but there's a lot of stuff that I liked in it.
I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff, and they're definitely making a lot of progress. But the pacing was so weird, and it really didn't fit in with the rest of the three episodes. Okay, so it starts off. I do like the opening though.
Yeah, before the title, I love that whole sequence and how it was how they did that with the music pretty much over everything.
Yeah, I thought that was good.
You got a montage, and like you could still like there were parts where like you could hear Hope, but like the music was still more overpowering, and I was like, oh, I like how they did that.
Yeah. At first I was like, is that like an audio issue? And then I was like, no, this is good. I'm okay with this. This works out. But yeah, it's her like pretty much the night. It picks up with her pretty much the night that Octavia and Dioza were taken, and she's like calling out for him after she comes out from her hiding spot, and she basically like falls asleep crying and then wakes up and goes out and like starts calling for them again. Cause like, what would you do in this situation? You know, you're just like, they fucking dudes came out of nowhere, teleported in, took them, but like, and you heard them come in, you heard Dioza and Antio talking, and then you hear the teleportation sound again, I guess, and then that's it. Like that would be hard to kind of comprehend. You would very much be like calling out for them because like maybe they're still here.
And then there's just weird, like the next like couple of shots of her like pretty much starting to take care of herself, and like that's all she's the only person she's got now, and she has to kind of.
I thought that was cool. She was very much just like, well, I mean, I guess I gotta kind of take care of myself.
She's got to fish, and she's got to
she goes
do everything.
Starts fishing, and then Dev, the dude that we've heard about, who trained her. Basically gets dropped off, I think, like the next day. And then my note is they have a montage, which is them getting to know each other. It's like them getting to know each other over the 10 years, basically. Was it 10? Yeah. And like he's teaching her. She basically admits to him that she has to like rescue them. Yeah. That she has to rescue Dioza and Antio, and he's like, okay, I'll help you. I'll help you out. So he like trains her, and then basically the time comes to. Well, actually, hold on. Is that here? Yeah. I think that's here. Yeah. The time comes like the 10 years are up, and I thought it was really cool how they did the transition. She's like trying to throw a knife against the wall, and it keeps bouncing off the wall, and then it like sticks, and then when it cuts back to her, she's fully grown.
She's an adult.
I was like, that's cool.
I like those. I like when that happens.
Yeah.
Also, Dev seemed like a really cool guy, and I was like, oh man, I really like his character. I'm like, oh wait, he's dead.
That man is super dead. Yeah, they casted that actor for that montage, and that is it. That's all he gets. Until later, they show him in a flashback, or when she sees someone in a hallucination. But yeah, he the date came up, the 10 years was up, and then the dudes. I was gonna ask you about this. The dudes come for his absolution day, which is like mentioned a couple times. Is this when like your sentence is up, so you're coming back to get taken back, or is this like we're coming to execute you? No,
it's like your penance, because that's what the planet is called. So it's like you work off, which is a weird. It's a weird name for the planet, because it's like very Catholic, and you would think that this is like so far into the future. And like they're in a different galaxy that like you would obviously think that,
but they
that
came
kind
from
of stuff.
Somewhere, you know?
Yeah, they all came from. We find out later that like they still all came from Earth.
Yeah.
So, but it's just weird that So, you serve your penance, and then you come back, and you're like brought back into the fold. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so the dudes come to take Dev back to Bardo. And the whole goal was to basically kill all of them and then go back through with the suits on. And then Hope basically hesitated to kill one of them and got Dev killed. And, that makes sense as to why in the second episode, where she was like, oh, we just got to kill him. Yeah, kill everybody.
Yeah.
She was very gung-ho. That kind of makes sense as to why she's, overcompensating for a mistake, kind of. And then... This is where, it cuts to the present day anomaly storyline.
It cuts to like some of the scenes from like episode 2.
Does it?
Yeah, like because at first I was like, oh, it's. I think it stretched it out, it kept going, but there were like some parts that were like, oh, this is like an actual shot from episode 2, and they just like strung, and then they just kept going with it.
Huh? I thought it just cut to like the moment after the dude dropped the memory viewer.
Yeah.
And Gabriel was just beating the shit out of him. I was like, damn. And then Hope basically explains, like, you know, referring to the montage. She's like, we have 5 years to get him to trust us and to help us. Trust me, I've done this before.
Yeah.
So then it goes to the, you know, the 100 theme. And then it cuts. Like, so this is where the pacing and how it connects with the other episodes gets really weird. It cuts to a bunch of the sanctuary, or sanctum, not sanctuary, sanctum people, like standing over one of the Mass Effect armor dudes, the disciples, standing over a dead disciple body, and talking. And I paused it like as soon as it got there, and I was like, wait, how did they?
I thought it skipped. Like and so I like scrubbed it back and I was like, oh no, no, that's that. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, did we miss an episode? Like, how did they get the armor? And I guess you kind of just are expected to assume that these are one of the dudes that Gabriel, Echo, and Hope killed out in the forest when they were running from them originally, or at least knocked out. And I guess that's somebody must have found that and brought them back, but I don't think they even say that.
No, they don't really say. There's no like exposition on it.
They're just talking about the body.
They're just like, they found a body.
Yeah, it's very. I don't know. I felt like they should have at least given some sort of transition, some sort of this is how we got this thing that is right in front of us. Yeah. Like it was very much just like this is here. I was like, what? But why?
It's like you guys were dealing with a totally different issue, and then this just like came in. And I was like, oh, wow.
And they don't even, like, reference or see the other issue. Like, you don't see Sanctum. Like, you just kind of, this is the story now.
Yeah.
It was very weird. And I mean, I guess they probably could fix it and kind of blend it better in the future. But for now, I was like, this is very jarring.
Yeah.
But yeah. Clark goes to Raven. Apparently the dude, so what we find out is that, you know, dead body here, and then somebody comes in and says that there were more, or at least another one. He was outside the force field asking for Clark by name. Yeah. So Clark goes to get Raven, and like tell her, and I think she tells Raven basically like, I think she's getting Raven to figure out more about the suit, to like, yeah.
Raven's pretty much the only one who can probably like figure out that tech.
Yeah. If you need something engineering done, it's probably Raven is your best bet. So yeah, she goes out to meet. She and a bunch of them go out to meet the dude who takes off his like it's an actor. Takes off.
We finally see one of their faces. They're human.
He takes off the helmet and he's talking to Clark, and he says, our leader thinks you're the key to the last great war humanity will ever fight.
It was it was a very eye roll of a sentence though. I was just like, that's a little too.
It was a very eye roll of the sentence, but it was also like, I mean, this is the last season of the 100.
I know. Like, it was just like very.
It's probably not wrong.
Very dramatic and very just like. This came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, you're the key to this.
We have to lay this out. We're not going to show you. We're going to tell you. You know, not as But that was very interesting. And then they said they'll meet him at Gabriel's camp later. And then it cuts back to Raven and Jordan, who are like working on the suit. And Jordan, a lot more sane here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This whole episode, a lot more of a normal human.
Well, he started a little. I was like, oh, this is weird. He comes in with one of the I think followers of what's his name?
Yeah,
Russell.
I think.
At first, and I was like, oh, okay, Jordan, why are you hanging around with this guy? But then,
I think that was in the last scene. I think that's the dude who told Clark that the guy was there.
Yeah.
I think it was another one of the followers, and Jordan.
But he was like, oh, it's okay. You can talk to you can tell her.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, Jordan, this is weird.
But then throughout the rest of the episode, he's a lot like, this is a normal kind of like not creepy at all. Like, I don't know. I feel like they shot this way out of order. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Most everything gets shot out of order, but like in TV and movies. But like I feel like they did this.
Tonally, it's like it's a little weird.
Yeah, the actors are missing some sort of information. Yeah. You know, but they. Jordan's like talking to Raven about how they used to work together on the ship, and I was like, oh, that's nice. He's kind of calling back. I was like, yeah, this is nice. And then Raven takes off his helmet, the dude's helmet. Like she finally gets it off, and she saw Hatch, and like he was talking to her, like
I was like, oh, she's tripping.
And, yeah, 100%. I was like, oh, I think I was like, oh, poor Raven. God, she's just fucked like, up right now.
they just gave it to her. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean they always do every season. They give Raven some bullshit. Like, oh my god, she's easily the character who has been through the most. I think even more than Clark. She has been through some shit. Everyone she's ever loved has died. So many times. How many of Raven's boyfriends have died? Like, originally it was Finn.
And then it was the pilot. Oh my god.
Yep. Well, the pilot was the most recent one. I think there was one in the middle. There was an engineer dude. There was an engineer dude in the Mountain Men kind of era. He was like a
I vaguely
dude.
Remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he died.
And then her leg.
Then her leg got all fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But she's had like at least 3 boyfriends who she was in love with die.
And then she
one
had
of them
Allie,
cheat
like,
on
messed
her
up in
and
her
then
head
die.
too. Allie was
Finn
in her head
cheated
for, like,
on her
a while.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Raven.
Yeah, poor Raven. And now she's really dealing with even more like morality kind of stuff that Clark is usually the one dealing with. So it's like now Raven's dealing with things that are even more new problems, you know?
Yeah. I just want to quickly call back when Clark and Raven are talking. I wrote it down because Raven kept saying like, oh, she's seeing all of the people that like she killed.
Yeah.
But then Clark's
she's
like, think of the, don't forget the faces of the ones you saved or something like that. And I was like, I like that Clark is kind of telling like, because Raven's never really had to make these kind of choices. And that's like Clark's bread and butter where
she's trying to help her.
Yeah. And I liked that kind of, it's not mentoring, but just kind of, she's like, this is what I've had to do. Now you have to do it. And so this is how you should cope, kind of.
Yeah, she was mentioning the people she killed, and she was like, I'll never forget these faces. She's like, good, and you won't.
Yeah.
But also don't forget the faces of the people who you saved. And
just like everybody else.
There you go. Yeah. Like, there you go. That was a good moment, for sure. I thought it was funny when Raven and Jordan are figuring out the suit. Clark walks in and kind of tells Raven what's going on, and Raven says that she'll meet Clark out there. She'll like ride out to meet her. And then I thought it was funny when she comes in. I think it's right when she comes in. Jordan's like, what does he say? He's like, what have you found out? She goes, invisibility. He's like, no way. She's like, and then she just kind of nods like, yep. Because
I wish they could explain. Like, I wish she explained the invisibility a little bit more. Just like.
I thought that added to the moment, you know? She was just like, what have you found out? Invisibility. No way.
Just like make up some shit where it's like, oh yeah, the suits refract light that bounces.
That's Raven's expertise.
Yeah, and so I just want like some bullshit on like why
to spout some bullshit.
Yeah, and so it's like just so that there's like a reason why they're invisible, because it's just like, oh yeah, they're invisible.
Well, they do kind of give it, you know, Raven's response to that is like when she's looking through the suit. I think this is later, but she's like, she has the suit on and she's basically like, this is invisibility. Well, no, she's about to put the helmet on, I think, and she's talking about invisibility, and she's like, I mean, there were theories, but like that's way more advanced than anything we could ever do. Yeah. So I think that's basically the setup, and the bullshit is like they're just really fucking way more advanced. So it's kind of like a fear thing, as in like they're setting up how strong the enemy is, kind of thing. And then let's see, it goes back to Echo and all of them on Skyring. This is where we learn about Hesperides, the three maidens guarding the apple, and they have a nice little conversation with. I mean, it's a flashback from young Hope with Octavia in the garden, and then let's see. They're basically trying to get the crazy dude to like them and to help.
Not be crazy.
Yeah, to help them out. I wrote that we found out that the dude's name is Orlando. They basically lured him in. They were trying to lure him in just by like, I don't know, having picnics outside and like looking like a nice happy family. And then at one point Hope goes out and is like drowning, quote unquote, and he goes out to save her. And then later, after they've all like eaten, they like brought him back, and they were eaten all together, and we learned that the shepherd, quote unquote, brought people to Bardo, which is like, I guess, their false religion that I'm sure we'll learn more about. But he basically decided to walk out. Orlando was like, he was leaving. And as he was leaving, he turned back and he was like, your mother was a Navy SEAL and she never taught you how to swim? And then walked out. I was like, okay. He knew. He knows what they're doing.
Well, like, that's the thing. That whole dinner scene, I was like, I missed a lot of, like, there was a lot of information at that dinner scene that I didn't really pick up on. It was kind of just, like, really glazed over. Like, they talked about him... I forget why he was sent to Penance or Skyring. And then he is like,
it was something
about very... like he was level 12. They were
and
I was like,
they went through all of that really quickly. I don't, which usually the 100 genuinely does do a good job of explaining this stuff. And I think they actually did still explain it. They just went through it really fast. I don't think they did a great job of getting it out. Because like, it was, I'm pretty sure they said that, like, you're supposed to work 6 days and rest on one, and he didn't rest, which I basically was supposed to convey that it's, like, super religious and super, like, strict and super, just super religious. And I think level 12 was basically, like, the status that he got on Bardo.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, security clearance, she mentions later. I don't think they really explain that, and I think they probably will a little bit more. Like, they'll probably explain that, and we'll probably see it.
Like, once we get there, yeah.
Yeah. But for right now, it's basically all we need to know is, like, level 12, high clearance. High security clearance. So, when they get to Bardo, which the plan was to take him back to Bardo as, like, a hostage, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were, basically, he was gonna... Or no, they were basically going to use his knowledge, and he had a lot of knowledge because he was like a level 12 security clearance, whatever. That's basically all we need to know about it in this episode, I believe. But yeah, then it goes back to Raven and Jordan working with the suit. Raven puts on the helmet, and it's basically like showing her. It's basically like able to read your mind is what she.
It's like the Iron
discovered.
Man. It's like Tony Stark, where he can just like control whatever he wants. I was like, okay, 100%. I like that.
Yeah. And then it's like showing her the solar system, pretty much. And she's discovering, it's showing like the bridge between planets with the anomaly. And she was like, wormholes, they're wormholes. And I was like, hey, she said it. And I thought this line was really cute. I thought it was funny. Once she discovered that, she was like, oh, guess I'm out of a job. I was like, that's funny because she's a pilot. That was good. And then it said, I will say it didn't say that Clark was a target. It said armed and dangerous.
Yeah. And it said Juan Hated too. And I was like, oh.
Yeah. I was like, alias
they
Juan
know
Hated.
About
yeah.
all
And
that
she
stuff.
Raven made a line about that. She was like, this thing knows things that there's no way it can know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little odd. Like, how the fuck would they know? I don't know. I hope it ties all together. There's so much. This season is so ambitious.
It is,
man.
Like when you look back at the other seasons, there were not like this crazy.
No.
Like, there's not so many like. There's a lot of
There's a lot of moving parts.
There's a lot of loops that are not.
Oh yeah.
That are just waving about, and we're like, how are you going to tie this all together?
And they do answer questions, but every time they answer questions, they ask more questions. Yeah. Every time they present answers, they ask more questions. It's like this episode, they answered kind of like more about Bardo a bit and how Echo and Hope and Gabriel are going to get there and save Bellamy. Like, they answered that, but they definitely presented more questions. And like, originally we thought there were 3 planets. Now there's 6.
Yeah, I think there's 6.
This is a thing that she discovers when she's looking in the wormhole. I think she mentions it later as well. There's 6 planets. Actually, no, this is definitely at the end of the episode, but there's 6 planets. One of them is offline, she said, and one of them is Sanctum. So there's 4 other planets.
Yeah.
So like, we thought there were 3. There's a lot. There's a lot, but I really hope they tie it all together. Let's see. And then she says Clark's a target. We have to warn them. Which will, that will connect later. Spoilers. And then it goes back to the Skyring. Echo like challenges the dude to a fight, and I thought it was funny. She like takes one swing and then he like flips her, and then it cuts to like the bet was that he can sleep in the house for a night if he wins, and if not, if she wins, he'll help them. But it cuts to them like sleeping outside the house. Yeah. I was like,
I was like, as soon as she challenged him, I was like, oh, she's gonna lose. So I'm like, it's just too. That's because she was so puffed up, and so like you could just tell that she needed to be like knocked down just a little bit.
Yeah. I also was surprised though. Like, in all caps, I put Echo lost because like Echo's probably one of, if not the best fighter in the show. That's
why I think like when this guy was like, oh yeah, he's a level 12. I'm like, oh man, he must like he doesn't look the part of like somebody that has a lot of like not class, but like a lot of power. Yeah. But I think that like he does, and like his whole aesthetic, like the beard and the mangy hair, was just kind of it allowed you
the clear old makeup.
Yeah, it allowed you.
That is what I'm like, man. That makeup is like very clearly this man is old.
It's like subvert your expectations. So you see this guy and you're just like, oh, he's just like a bum. Or he's just like what is he just does? He lives out like, what is he gonna do? And then you see him do all this stuff, and you're like, oh wow, he's actually
I honestly was kind of hoping they'd show that more, because it was very clear that they were trying to present that, like, like I said, Echo's probably the best fighter in the show, and he just like beat her. Yeah. But I was hoping they would kind of show that more, because that is like unbelievable, but the way they did that was like comedic, so I was like, it was still done well. And then I wrote down, just as a reminder, because Gabriel said it, and it's very hard to keep track of all these things, and when it comes to time and how time works on different places. So he said a year on Skyring is only a few days on Bardo, and then I paused it and I was like, wait, so a year on Skyring is only a few days on Bardo, and a couple seconds on Sanctum or Elysium, whatever the fuck that planet's called. I think Sanctum is the city, and I think I'm looking this up.
Well, they're on Alpha, right? Because like
I don't know if they call it that.
No, but I don't know what it's called.
Actually, no. I think the whole planet is Sanctum. I think the city is something else. Sanctum itself is the moon, is the planet. Yeah.
Okay.
It is also known as Planet Alpha. Yeah. Maybe the city is also called Sanctum. I don't know. But yeah, so I paused it for a second. I was like, okay, so a couple seconds on Sanctum is 3 months on Skyring. So time works fastest on Sanctum, slowest on Skyring, and in the middle on Bardo, because a couple days is a year is different to how it works, but only slightly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. But like, so is there just a time difference between everything and Skyring, or is it between it wouldn't be between Bardo and Sanctum as well.
I think it is. I think it's not as severe, but according to this, I think it is. Because think about it, right? 1 year on Skyring is 3 days on Bardo.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas a couple seconds on Sanctum was 3 months on Skyring. That's faster, right?
Yeah.
Like if if Sanctum and Bardo were the same, a couple seconds being 3 months does not equal 3 days being a year. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't.
But then like a couple of seconds and it would be 3 days.
Need to be
on Bardo.
I mean, that would definitely be different. You know?
Yeah, it's so.
We'll see. I mean, I'm probably reading into it too much, and Sanctum and Bardo probably are the same. But
it's like I don't mind time. I don't mind time travel. Like I just watched Back to the Future again. Time travel, I can sort of understand.
That Doctor Who.
But like, yeah, this where it's like time moves slower and faster.
Up in
also,
here.
I don't really like. I wish that they would have had some sort of text saying how many months, how many years, because they don't really do anything to the actors until the very end. And it's like I'm just trying to like piece in my head where like how they should be acting.
And I think they trusted their own storytelling to be enough. And it is. We do get the general idea.
Bit, yeah.
We get the timeline, but it's hard to follow. Like
I just kind of want it to be like,
yeah,
how many months? Or it's like
I can't remember what it was. It was some movie or some show where there was an episode where there was a bunch of like time skipping. And I remember people being like, I wish they... Oh, no, it was The Witcher. I remember people being like, I wish they were more specific about which timeline was which. Like, I wish there was some way to differentiate. But to me, I was like, I kind of liked how they did it because the way they did it, I understood it. It took a little bit, but once I got it, I was like, this is cool. And it makes sense. And
it tied up at the end as well, too.
Yes, absolutely. But whereas this, it's like, I really do feel like this would benefit because it's just a lot of granular little. The timing is a lot to handle. It is a lot to keep up with, and you're kind of trying to follow as you go. You know, so I agree. I wish there was some sort of text. You know, good old what is it? Civil War, Brooklyn.
Yeah,
you know,
something like that.
or first part of Infinity War, space.
Is that what it says?
That's what it says when it goes. It's the first cutaway to Guardians, where it's just space. I'm pretty sure, and I remember loving that. Let's see. So yeah, it goes back to Skyring. Echo lost to the dude. You're on Skyring's only a few days on Bardo. I do like how I really liked Gabriel's speech to Orlando about like false gods.
Yeah.
He basically runs through all of the shitty things that like man
has done.
And he was like, a god, think about it. If there was a god, why would he do that? Yeah. Like, these are things that men do. Be real. It walks out. I was like, I like that. It was good.
There are a lot of like parallels to Gabriel's kind of story of working with like Russell, and then like there's like this false religion and they turn it into this thing, and it sounds like the shepherd and the stuff on Bardo
like a very similar
is
thing
very
could have
similar.
happened. Yeah. And then it cuts to like 4 years later, or 5 years from the beginning of when they got there. And Hope and Echo both got short hair.
And nothing happened to Gabriel. And I'm like, why didn't you change your hair? Everybody else changed.
Got short hair.
Yeah, but like he could have done something else to it. He could have had long hair.
There needed to be a wardrobe change.
It would be like because he looks the same. He looks exactly the same, and I'm like, 5 years.
I like the short hair on both of them, though. I thought it was cool.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, look at that, they look cool. And then Absolution Day is the end and is coming soon. Then I'm pretty sure, this scene, basically Absolution Day happens. The dudes come in. There's like 3 of them, I think, and then like 3 of the disciples. Oh no, yeah, you're right. There's like 5 of them
because they sent more because of what happened with
Dev.
Hope? With Dev, yeah.
And they hear like screaming, and they go over, and Orlando's like tied to a tree, which was basically like a trap. And they go to like untie him, and then they realize, and as soon as they're like, wait, it's a trap, they get like blown up from a distance from like an explosive arrow. And then they come in and they start to like get the suits. They basically were like, we have 5 minutes. We have to get these suits on. We got to go because the bridge is going to close. The anomaly is going to close. And then they start to put the suits on, and one of them wasn't like knocked out fully and starts to like sneak up on Echo. And I really like this moment. Hope like actually goes up and kills that person. And I really like the moment after that where Echo turns around and like sees, because she hadn't even seen yet, and she turns around and she was like shocked and super grateful all in one moment, and she turns to Hope and gives her like the dope ass like forearm handshake kind of deal, and like foreheads touching, and she was like, thank you. And I thought that was really good because it very much showed that was a very clear example of 5 years of bonding.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to do that kind of stuff, but I was like, that's a good thing.
You can tell,
been
like,
there for 5 years.
They're close now. Like, before, you could tell that they were kind of, like, at each other's throat a little bit when they first met, and it's like, now you can kind of see that they're, like, together.
Yeah, I like that. I was like, that's a good moment. And then Echo fucking goes off, by the way.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked.
Crazy.
I did not see this coming, and I was like, okay, I like that I did not see this coming.
Yeah, this was a very 100 moment where she, at first she starts apologizing to Orlando, who's like still tied up, basically saying like, she had to, because she did. Like, Hope had to kill that one disciple, and he was very clearly like sad about it. But, I think all three of them were like, we're sorry, we had to. And then he kind of lightened up. And that's when Echo was like, you know what, actually, and goes and starts like slitting throats of like all of the disciples. And she basically is like, what's her reasoning? She's like,
so her reasoning was because they took the helmet off the one that Hope killed. And
she saw his reaction.
Yeah, so like he knew her. And like I wrote down like she kind of makes a weird point that I kind of agree with, where
me too.
She's like, yes, he's our friend. Like, yes, we've been here with him for 5 years. Like, he's our friend, but he's not
Gabriel
our people.
Says he's
We're
our
not
friend.
his people.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
And I was like,
too.
oh, that makes sense. It's like when they go back, I'm like, I don't think he would be loyal. I don't think he would.
Yeah, she was basically saying like, what if he turns us in? What if he like betrays us when we're in there? Like she was like, he knew her. How many people on the other side is he gonna know? Yeah. Like, and Gabriel, I thought that was a really good moment. My note before this was all caps, Echo, no. And then my next note is Gabriel's like, he's our friend. And she was like, yes, I know, but we're not his people. Yeah. And I like that too. I was like, wow, that's a fair concern.
It's like, it sucks.
I don't know if I agree with it. Like, I don't know if I would think so strongly that he was gonna do that I would kill all of these people and leave him there. But I was like, I do see your point. Yeah, that is totally a possibility. Like, especially with like how loyal he has been.
Yeah.
Even being there for 5 years, I was like, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
That was a good moment. And then it cuts over to, pretty sure, this is one of the last scenes. I think second to last scene. Clark is riding out on a dope ass motorcycle to meet the disciples, and they have like Gabriel's camp all fenced up, which like, how the fuck did they do that in a day?
And like, I wonder how many days have passed in like Sanctum since the season premiere.
Yeah, that's my thing, and that's why this seems so weirdly paced, is that they're just now dealing with Bellamy and
like, has it only been
Hope and Echo and Gabriel? They're just now dealing with, especially Echo and Bellamy and Octavia. That's what they're dealing with, them being gone. Their friends are gone.
Yeah.
But like, it's been at least 3 days of them dealing with stuff in Sanctum. Like, they've gone to sleep, they've woken up, like we've seen this. And now they're dealing with that, which happened like at least 3 or 4 days ago. And it's, I don't know, it's very odd. I get what they were trying to do. I think they just needed a way to bridge the times better. They're handling a lot. Like, Clark is handling a lot. And I don't know. I could totally see them even fixing this somehow. Like, I could see it. They've done that before where I've had issues with timing or with pacing or something. And then just the way the whole season kind of goes, I'm like, oh, okay, I see what you were doing. Like, I don't know. So you never know. But yeah, she's riding out to meet the disciples. And she's like, where are my friends? And he was like, I think they're sitting in the back or something like that. Yeah. And she raises her hand and like a bunch of dots line up on him. And he's like, yeah, see? I was right. Or I think she says you were, yeah? She's like, I don't mean those friends though. And then they have a whole thing. I will say, I think this got unnecessarily hostile real quick. Yeah. Real fucking quick. Like, I get that she has the things on him. Well, I don't know. No, it makes sense. It makes sense. She has, like, 6 guns pointed on him. And then he basically was like, well, and then all of his dudes uninvisible themselves. And they all have guns pointed at him. They're both, like, leaders of groups and trying to fucking intimidate each other, even if his goal is to take her, he doesn't care what happens to her friends. So, like, he's negotiating in a rough way.
Yeah, he's
trying to get Clark to come with him.
But like, if what he says is true about like we need your help with something, this is a weird way to get somebody's help.
Yeah.
Like to be this intimidating. Usually, you want to be the like if you're trying to get somebody's help and they're the only person that can help you. Yeah. You sort of play it a little submissively.
Yeah.
Because
I will say they have information about Clark though. They know that she is Juan Heda, commander of death. So, like, if I could see, he looks very much like a general kind of dude. I could see him just being like, this is kind of the only way. Yeah. Especially knowing Clark. So, but yeah, you're right. In general, if you're wanting somebody's help, it would make sense for them to be more, like, kind and trying to be open.
Yeah, instead of like, hey, come with us right now or else you'll never see your people again. It's like
yeah. But
you're just
I don't
asking
know, maybe
for
it seems like Bardo is very militarized. So it's totally it kind of does make sense that he would be very much a fucking military asshole about it. Like this is probably the only kind of way he knows how. And then fucking Jordan walks in with his hands up for like a distraction for a quick second, and then Raven, I don't know how the fuck they didn't explain this at all in any way, shape, or form. I feel like they should have been like, oh, how'd you do that, Raven? Oh, I figured out how to mess with their guns, blah blah blah. Yeah. Like some sort of bullshit explanation. But no, she just does it, and then they go on. She like pops out of invisible from the suit and then shoots a shot that literally bounces between every single one of them and kills all of them. And I was like,
and where it hit the captain or whatever, like the main guy, it didn't look like it would like actually kill him. I thought it looked like it hit him on like the left side. Or
I don't know. It definitely it seemed like it hit like the chest. But I don't know. I wasn't watching super close.
So weird.
Yeah. Like I said, that I feel like there should have been literally any sort of bullshit explanation.
And just to do it to Raven again, because then we see her take off the helmet.
I did like it though. Like overall, I liked it. I think it was Miller. You don't see him, but you hear somebody go, Raven Reyes, ladies and gentlemen. And I was like, yeah, let's go. I think in all caps I wrote Raven with the play.
But then she's like so broken about it. And like, as she sort of should be a little bit, I guess. And it's just like,
and that's one thing that I realized. It's like, I don't think Raven has really killed too many people, all things considered.
Before, like last episode, she did it to save like a whole, like pretty much everybody. And she didn't actively kill them. This one, she actively killed them. Yeah. And it's just like, man, Raven, 2 episodes, you're just not doing well. Like emotionally, she's got to be a mess.
Yeah. She had to do it, but it was very clear afterwards that she didn't want to. Yeah. And then they go down under the anomaly to go off and rescue their friends.
Just like that.
The pacing of this episode is so weird. And then it's bad. The pacing is bad. I'll say that. I'm beating around the bush because I love the 100, but the pacing of this episode was not good. But yeah, they're down there. she's looking through the helmet and telling them what the helmet says, and this is where she says there are 6 planets. One of them is offline, one of them Sanctum, so there's 4 other planets. And Clark's like, well, how are we gonna know where they are? I guess we're just gonna have to pick one and
we'll
go
just try
for
them
it.
all. I think she says, like, yeah, we'll try them all.
Yeah. So, oh man, this whole ending was so weird. So they pick a planet, they go off through the anomaly, and then Gaia decides to stay. Don't really remember the reason, I'm gonna be honest with you. And then, maybe just to watch over Sanctum, but I don't know. I feel like
to like warn them.
Literally, almost all of the leaders of Sanctum are leaving. The ones that were holding all of that powder keg together, other than Indra, are just leaving with no consequence. I don't know. It's very weird. And then, but yeah, Gaia decides to stay, and then a disciple dude out of nowhere just comes down and like knocks her out. But only for a second, because then the next thing we know, she wakes up, and then they start fighting. But it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, I didn't actually catch it super well, and I was hoping you did. It looks like the disciple goes over to the anomaly and does something to where it's like shutting down in 20 seconds.
Yeah. And then he did hit confirm.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I was like, I guess he's basically turning it off. I don't. Yeah. But then that's the thing you do, but he's turning it off. And yeah, him and Gaia fight. I don't remember how that ends. Oh no, they both fall into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they both fall into the bridge, the anomaly. And then it doesn't show them. But it cuts over to everybody else who went through the anomaly before, which is Clark, Miller, Jordan. Man, I wish I knew that girl's name, but I'm forgetting it. Do you know what I mean?
No, yes. I tried to look it up on IMDb, and she's not she's not listed in the episode. And I was like,
I mean, she's been in the show for a while. She was in the show, I think, since the bunker, but I'm forgetting her name.
Fun fact.
And
she's Murphy's sister in real life.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
That is cool. Do you know the actor?
No, I don't know her name.
Oh, man. You used to remember that
I just remember that she's Murphy's sister in real life.
That's so funny. Yeah. If anybody's listening to this, tweet at TeddyChinaris on
or
Twitter.
Tyson Pellegrini.
And tell us who this was, or both, and tell us who this was. Or put it in the comments on the YouTube version, because I tried to look it up too, and I didn't see them on IMDb for this episode. But yeah, she's been in at least since the bunker. I mean, I remember a lot of her storylines and shit. I just don't. Oh, her and Clark had sex. I'm pretty sure at one point. But like, I don't remember her name. But she was there. I'm trying to remember who else.
Jessica Harmon.
Jessica Harmon. Okay. Do you know her character's name? Because once you say that,
well, now I can look up her IMDb. And then, was it Nyla?
Nyla. Yeah. Okay. 100%. I knew as soon as he said it, I was gonna be like, okay. But yeah, I'm trying to think who else went in. Oh, Raven, Clark, Raven, Jordan, Nyla, and Miller, and I think that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. And they're on like top of a snowy mountain.
They're on Hoth. They found their way to Hoth.
They were like, they basically decided. Which, first of all, they decided it wasn't the planet, and they were gonna go to the next one. How do you fucking know?
Yeah,
how do you know this isn't it? Like, how do you know that? Well, I guess it would make sense, like, because if they went through the anomaly, like, you know, who they're after, which is Bellamy, Echo, and Octavia. Mm-hmm. If they went, it's so jumbled at this point because there's so many characters. Hope is there, but they don't even know who Hope is. Yeah. You know? But yeah, I guess they can assume that that's not the place because, you know, if those three had went through, they probably would have, you know. I think they do know that time works differently, so I guess they can assume that there should have been a house or something nearby, some sort of sign of civilization nearby.
Some sort of sign of life, and this is just like a frozen like landscape.
Yeah. So I mean, I guess that's fair, but part of me is also like, be hiding in a cave.
Well, you don't know. Yeah, you don't know. It could be they could live underground.
They could. I mean, it's a planet. Like, if we teleported to the fucking North Pole, and
they're like, "Oh, it's only ice here.
No civilization." You know, it's a planet. It's Earth. I'm here in a house right now. Like, you know, I don't know.
I think it's weird. The anomaly, the one thing I don't like about the anomaly, but I think this is the way that...
This episode's weird, y'all.
Yeah. It's like, okay, you touch a whole bunch of buttons on the anomaly. Mm-hmm. You go through the wormhole. You go to a different planet.
Yep. One of six.
My understanding would be like, you know, it's going to teleport you through the wormhole to the other anomaly.
Yeah.
And then you can jump back and forth. Instead of, why would it just put you anywhere on the planet?
With Sanctum and Skyring, that seems like it was the case.
Yeah.
Maybe the anomaly itself, like the big green tornado, would have been on top of that mountain, but the dude shut it down.
Maybe.
Because when they go to Skyring, it's under the lake.
Also, so this is a different, like, I think this is a different planet than Bardo.
I would.
So this is like another one. So
now we have Bardo in another planet, right?
Yeah, Bardo. And we don't know if there's time differences on this one because Gaia and the Bardo person jumped in at the end.
They're not there.
And then because he turned it off, because it's shut down. Now there's another like loose end that they have to somehow tie back in.
Oh my, there's so much happening in this goddamn show. Let's try and track the planets, right? Sanctum, Skyring, Bardo, Snowy Planet, Offline Planet, and there's one more, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
show's crazy. I really like the first 3 episodes. I still think there are good moments in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
This episode as a whole, now that I'm talking about all of it, I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this episode.
There's a lot. There's a lot, especially when dealing with other planets and time, like differences.
Yeah.
And how time works differently on different places. Because when you think of the 100, we've still only been on like one fairly small, like when it was on Earth, it was still fairly small. It was like Earth and the
which I remember people always like the subreddit wanting them to explore more, like looking at the intros and like being like, oh, look at the map, like what's over there, like wanting to explore more of Earth. And then they're like, no, we're gonna go to cryo sleep for 100 years and jump to another planet.
But it's like I like these compact stories. When you start like reaching for the stars.
Vast.
Yeah. It's like I really hope that and I think that they do have everything tied up in like the later episodes. Just
like I said,
right
they have yet
to
disappoint. So like they could do it. They can still do it. It's just a lot. Yeah. And they're just asking more questions than I'm confident that they're going to be able to answer.
I just want them to explain things just a tad slower. Because like the 100 has never really been that hard to follow. Like,
yeah,
it's not that deep of a story.
Even with the sci-fi bullshit, you know, even with Allie and even with all of that, it has been relatively
even like last season with like the mind chips
for the season.
That's
even the mind chips, like, you know, it's understandable. We got it. We're following the season plotline. It has absolutely gotten harder to follow the show's timeline and characters meeting and stuff because so much has fucking happened. But when it comes to individual seasons, it's absolutely been pretty easy to follow up until now so far.
I really want, and I don't think it'll like this is what they have planned, but I would love it if somehow somebody from the past like got a wormhole, and that's how like and like the shepherd is somebody we know, and that's how they know who Juan Haida is. And all of these things.
Oh man, see, that's a whole nother thing. How do they have this fucking information?
Yeah. For one, it's like 100 years, and they were in like light travel.
It was 100 years ago on a different fucking planet across the galaxy.
Yeah, across the galaxy, not even just a different planet, across a different solar system. So that's why I really feel that it's somebody from the past. It has to be. To like piece it, because it's just like, how did you find out?
Oh man, but like, okay, so now we know. Okay, so information on mind chips, right? Mm-hmm. The commander is like the Flame, right? That mind chip has the knowledge of all of the commanders, right?
Right.
And Shade Heda was able to upload itself wirelessly to another person with a mind chip. Yeah. So if the Shepherd has a mind chip, maybe the commander's Flame... Because apparently they killed the Flame, right?
Right.
Supposedly, the Flame died. Maybe that is what, Shade Heda went over here and the Flame went somewhere else, and it went to the Shepherd on Bardo, who was a Prime, who was mind chip, and he now has all of the knowledge of all the commanders. You ever fucking think about that?
But I'm still just trying to think, like, that makes sense on why they would want Clark.
That is the closest I can get to making this make sense, all right?
What if Allie just comes back and it's just her?
It's just like the person who created.
Do they say he when they talk about the Shepherd?
I think so.
Or do they just say the Shepherd?
I don't know. That's a good point. I don't know if they've used that. I don't know.
Well, I think because like the next episode's called "Welcome to Bardo," so we'll finally get to see this goddamn planet.
These goddamn Mass Effect Destiny.
I'm just very because like everything is so primitive.
These fucking invisible Arc Hunters,
like
ruining everything.
What is it? Skyring is still very primitive. Sanctum very primitive. We got Hoth or whatever that planet's called. Very primitive.
It's gonna
very
be
like
Hoth
nothing.
From now on.
And so. Bardo, I want to see a full-blown city. Because if you got these suits, you got to have something. You can't have, nice, lush landscapes.
Yep. I want to see Earth from 20 or 4040. That's what I want to see. Anyways, let us know how you felt about the episode. Are we crazy? We very possibly could be. I'm still looking forward to the next one. The answer is yes. But are we crazy about this specifically? So yeah, let us know. Tweet at us at TeddyChinaris and at Tyson Pellegrini, right?
Yes.
Nailed it. I'm just gonna throw that out there. And then follow the show on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel where you can see us talking about stuff called Tyson Teddy Talk. And then also tell your friends, hit ring the bell, like and subscribe.
I don't know. All that shit. I don't know, in America, is the 100 at all on Netflix?
Well, yeah, but the previous seasons. They put this season out once for every CW show. Once the season ends, they wait 6 months of them putting it on Netflix.
So get started. Watch season 1. Go through it. And then once you're at season 7, it'll probably be the time you'll find this podcast and you can watch along and listen and then you can just enjoy it. That's
How would they have gotten to this point of the show?
I don't know.
or go rewatch all of it and help us make sense of all of it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, Nyla's been there for a long time, but we forgot her name.
Well, she hasn't had a lot of lines.
No, she really hasn't. This is when I remembered that her and Clark slept together. I'm like, in my head, I'm like, how are I feel like there should be more of a friendship there, and I don't think they've talked at all this season.
No. Well, because that was before
I get that
Lexa.
Clark has a lot going on, but it's crazy.
That was before Lexa. So then Clark moved on with Lexa.
Well, yeah, but I think her and Nyla still always had friendship.
I thought Nyla betrayed them somehow.
See, this is what I'm talking about, man. It's so hard to
with the episode, the 5-year. There was something with that. I don't know. I could be wrong.
I bet you're right. Who knows? Anyways, this show's crazy. It's only gonna keep getting crazier. We'll see if they ask more questions next time, or if they provide answers, or both. Probably both is the answer. Hopefully they tie it all together. I'm still enjoying it though. Like I said, I think this is my least favorite episode out of the 4, but the other 3 I've still really liked.
Oh yeah.
And I still like this one, but just start wrapping some things up. Just start tying some things together.
Just a couple.
Please. Just give us some hope.
Just tie one thing and then untie something else. Give us some hope.
Yeah.
I will say that I'm warming up to her character and her actress.
Too.
And so I'm like, okay.
Me too. They're doing a good job with that.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know. Follow me on Twitch at TV/TeddyChinaris and at TeddyChinaris on Twitter and Instagram, and youtube.com/TeddyChinaris. And that's about it. What about you, Tyson?
Twitter's at Tyson Pellegrini. Instagram's Pellegrini_17. And Twitch is TPellegrini.
Yeah. All right. We're getting out of here. We'll catch you guys next week for Welcome to Bardo. Get fucking hyped.
I'm hyped.
Woo!
See ya.